to Ashen Trials. I say welcome back since you know we've been here kind of all weekend. My name is Jazz. I'm your caster for today. We are on week 2 of our group rounds, Praxis versus Astral, and we have Praxis on the killer, Volatar playing for Praxis right now, the Lich on the Dead Dog Saloon. I am super excited for this game. Both these teams are very good players, so I'm very much looking forward to seeing this team go crazy. We see a very early hit onto Scroily here, and we get the instant mage hand onto the pallet, and Scroily's gonna go down an extremely fast down for the start of the game. And we're just gonna take our hook. We have no one around for a flashlight save or anything. And yeah, we've got decent pain res RNG, but choosing not to use pain res because the down was so early in the game. And now we're just gonna try and seek out our friends. We're not gonna pop that gen. Looks like we're gonna use our pop on this 12 gen here for NA clock humans. And we're gonna see the instant pull come in because it was such a fast down. I'm honestly surprised they didn't just let Scroily sit on hook and get gen progress instead. I'm hoping Scroily can have a really good tunnel out chase here, because it is definitely needed. We see the skulls, but he dodges the skulls very nicely. We're gonna break Shack Pallet, get it out of the way, which is exactly what he needs to do here. Oh, blocking the vault, but unfortunately getting the grab. Oh no! Oh! If he wouldn't have vaulted back, he would have definitely gotten away, but we vaulted right back into our killer, unfortunately. And we are going to use our first pain res now, and a nice hook in mid-street, which is a very good hook positioning for the Vecna here. Volatar knowing exactly where he needs to have his hooks. We're going to go back to hook, but they're not going to be pulling yet, due to the fact that, again, it's such a quick down for this tunnel out. I mean, we just go ahead and pull it. I think you're off better letting him sit, because his chases are just not as long as they should be right now. And you need to get this gen progress. We haven't had a single, but we get the head on. That's gonna waste a little bit of time. Hopefully Scroily can get away and get some more distance. It looks like we are gonna continue playing main building here. We try to get the skulls on the elevation down the stairs, but doesn't come in. Scroily finally lasting just that little bit longer, but oh no, the mind game comes in from Volatar, and Volatar is getting the down and getting his tunnel out nice and early, right at 5 generators. This is looking like a really risky spot right now for the survivors. We finally see the first gen pop. We're gonna end the second gen. So we finally did get 2 gens for the tunnel out chase. However, I do feel like we should have seen some gens earlier on during the tunnel out before Scroily was dead. Now we need to see some pretty good chases from the rest of our survivors here. We're gonna pop this mid-gen, and looks like we're gonna try and get a tag onto the ace. Volatar doing an amazing job at quickly switching the spells as needed. And for those of you who are new to comp or don't necessarily know comp, survivors cannot use the magic chest and get a magic item. And oh my god, Marcy just vaulted into Volatar, giving him a little smidgy smooch, saying good morning, good afternoon, hello, hello. We're gonna see the chase continue on to Marcy here, and it looks like we're gonna get the down because the mage ran onto the pallet, and we do see the eruption proc, and we are going to get our second pain res of the game. Here we, right in mid-street, perfect positioning for our killer, doing absolutely amazing. The survivors definitely have something like to fight for here, and we have the killer instinct on Gallows Gen, so we do know that they're working on Gallows Gen from the orb. But where is Exotic? I wonder if Exotic might be stealthing around for the pull, possibly. Now that we know that Aaron is definitely on the Gallows Gen. Yeah, we did find Exotic here in main building. A very good attempt on the elevation tactic for the skulls, but unfortunately just not quite getting it where it needs. We're gonna go interrupt this Gallows Gen. No, we're just gonna try and scare Aaron off of it here, and we're gonna try and find Exotic again, which we do indeed find. We get the killer instinct. We know he's in main. Trying to get this pull. I mean, I think Marcy just hit second here. They're in a really unfortunate position for the pull, and yeah, we're just gonna see the second stage coming in as Aaron works on that Gallows Gen, and we're taking the chase onto Exotic. This pallet is gone, so there's not many resources for Exotic to work on here. We're going back just to defend that hook. Exotic now injured, so can't necessarily go for the unhook without trading. Baltar tries to catch Aaron off guard and maybe hopefully see him pre-drop and get skulled, but unfortunately Aaron was patient enough just to wait it out. We're gonna see our lovely mage hand come in to play here, and the skulls. Baltar doing an amazing job playing around these tiles, but Aaron doing even a better job at playing the 50-50s and winning them around this pallet here. But we do get a skulls right onto Aaron's head. There's no shack pallet, so right now you're just playing these 50-50s, and if those skulls come back in time, I mean, Baltar might just place them straight back on Aaron's head. But doing a very good job at running this pallet here down in the Gallows area, but unfortunately losing the 150, getting the down. Eruption pops on the Gallows Gen, but we don't see an aura, so we're not 100% sure where survivors are. We're gonna take a basement hook here, especially with the fact that the Gallows Gen is so close to being popped. It's a very good position for Baltar to be in. And we immediately get the killer instinct from the locker. Exotic hiding in the locker to try and be able to get that save, but was caught out by the orb. Unfortunate. We are probably going to see a trade here if Baltar just doesn't block Aaron, which it looks like we're very much... But Aaron does make it out, but Exotic is going to go down, and we're just going to go straight for Exotic, or for Aaron here, and get the tunnel out chase. And we're missing those skulls. Aaron able to dodge them just slightly. Exotic still slugged on the basement stairs. Marcy's got to be able to get Exotic up right now. I mean, we're looking kind of at 4K3, 4K2 territory currently. The Baltar is doing an amazing job at applying pressure onto all the gens needed. And Exotic is still not up, so I'm curious if Marcy is just committing a gen to try and get that 4K2 win con. But no, Exotic is up now. We do see get up, and we see Marcy running away. But gonna play that in front of main. Oh no, we're gonna send it over to the building over here to try and take it away from the hook. And we are gonna get the first hit with the mage hand holding that pallet up, not being able to drop it and play around it. We do have a couple fillers over here, but we're running into a no pallet territory, and amazing skulls by Baltar. That's going to be Marcy out of the game and back to the campfire, forcing the 2v1 at 3 gens. This is definitely looking like it could be a 4K3 potential here. Unless we have one really good chase, and I mean, we're able to get a generator done. But, I mean, what an amazing... We do get the generator done. We get main generator done. Now we're looking at a 4K2 potential. Oh my, Exotic here could have another good chase, possibly to hopefully force a 4K1 if Aaron can get a generator done. Exotic perfectly dodging those skulls there. Wasting time. Using me. We're gonna see a locker pull. Oh my god! And the flashlight save out of the locker! Aaron was there! What an amazing play by the survivors! The communication needed for that, absolutely amazing. But Aaron is completely injured here and going to the porta potty pallet, or I like to call it the shitter pallet. There's not much you can do, and Aaron is just gonna go down and go back. And this is gonna be Aaron's death hook, and it's gonna go back to the campfire. I mean, Exotic's probably set up for Hatch, but I don't think we escaped through it in time, and it's really not going to matter because they did not complete all generators. We are gonna see definitely the win con of a 4K2 here. Absolutely amazing job done by Balatar. Now we're just gonna try and find Exotic stealthing around the map, maybe trying to get a gate open, playing that 50-50 game, seeing if we can sneak out of a gate. But with the orb, we know that Exotic might not be around here or is in the corner, and we're gonna definitely orb to the next gate and possibly fly there as quick as possible, because we do have our fly back. And Exotic does get out of the trial. Absolutely amazing job. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back for Astral on Killer. Back to game number 2 of set 1, our Lich match. We have Astral on the Killer now versus Praxis. I am Jazz, and I am so thankful because I got the bestie caster with me now, Eimee. Welcome on in, bestie.
Yo, hello, Jazz. Thank you so much for that very nice and sweet introduction. I mean, casting with you is always a pleasure, as I always mention it, and we're already seeing this game go to an excellent tag here on Eren. You know, I'm actually very excited to see Praxis play. I know we did have a first set, but I was not here to witness it, so I'm glad that we get to see what these survivors can do against this Lich. And I mean, Lich in himself is a very interesting set, since it can be very explosive, especially on something like this with main.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, just like the previous game, I know you weren't here, we have a 4K2 win con, or tie con, I should say. So 4K3 win con, and the last match we saw a very quick down come in and a very quick take, just like this one here. So right now, we're kind of on par with everything. However, we do see a little bit of a build change. Aaron is choosing to run a full Hex build, where Balatar was running the typical Pain Res, Pop, Eruption combination. What do you prefer? Do you prefer a full Hex build, or do you prefer to see like a typical Pain Res Pop?
Ooh, that's a really interesting question. I can definitely say it. I think the win con matters a lot. You know, with hexes, you always just run the risk that your value is going to get. It will go down over time as the match progresses, as good survivors, especially ones at the caliber of Praxis, will find the totems very quickly in that early game. And as I mentioned, that we already have 3 of our hexes off the board. Crowd control being the only one that we have left, and that is completely fine, as basically it's probably our strongest hex here besides Ruin, maybe, that you could argue for. We are going to see Eren get the mage hand off, and that is going to allow him to get the down here on 2. So very excellent start, and with a win condition as 4K2, this is a start that you definitely want to see if you're cheering for this team.
Oh, absolutely. You definitely want to see the very quick blows. We're checking locker. I think someone's in there. Someone being a little sneaky snake? I don't think so. We are about to see our first gen pop, V1, getting that gen popped with beautiful timing before the first death comes in as well. Unlike the last game, we already had a death before the first gen had popped. So right now, Praxis is really, I mean, on par with possibly looking like we could win this set. But I'm really excited to see. I think Eren can do something here. I really do. I think looking at how they're looking around and they know the game sense. They're very much aware of what is going on. So I definitely think we can see Eren pull something off.
Oh yeah, 100%, especially on something like DDS versus Lich. I mentioned earlier that main can be quite troublesome for the survivors, and that is because the skulls there, as we saw on that hit can be very, very scary, especially when you're able to get the right angles on it. And oh my gosh, wait, incredible usage of flying, knowing that you can actually use it to go through, and that is going to be a down. Wow, our Lich here showing us how well you can play for this. And the survivors, most likely we have someone playing, yeah, the Nia is playing for the pallet stun. They know that they could just waste time here since the win condition is 4k2. We need to get this off, and do we see a pallet stun? Oh my gosh, that's really unlucky. That was definitely ping right there. And that is going to be someone sent to the campfire in this match on Lich. And we now have 3 survivors left on the board. This 4k2 is, the win condition is looking very, very doable, but we do need very fast downs. And we also need to get tags on the board. If you don't get tags on the board, this is going to be a very uphill battle.
Oh, absolutely. With the Tricon here being at all Praxis needs to do is pop one more generator, and they do take the set. Or oh my gosh, the head on and the crouch at the locker from the skeletons. What a wonderful play between Overdose and V1 there. The perfect team cohesion to be able to calm that. But we are gonna see, no, V1 does get taken through the pallet, tries to bait the pallet drop, but unfortunately it's just going to get tagged, which is exactly what Aaron needs right now. We need to see the tags come in. We need to see a quick down. We need to be able to protect our gens so they cannot pop another gen.
Wow, excellent gameplay here from V1. Perfectly dodging the skulls and knowing exactly when to crouch. And that is one of the things that you see from survivors of this caliber. They are so good on their spacing, especially on Lich sets. A lot of mid-level teams, you'll see them go down very quickly to Lich. But something as this kind of pathing makes it super difficult. Of course, V1 with this ping, knowing that they cannot just drop that pallet. So we tried to get a pallet stun most likely, but it did not work. But that is our win con being met. An absolute amazing gameplay from V1 again, showing us that correct pathing on DDS can make this map look like the killer struggles on DDS, despite this still being very good for Lich.
Absolutely. I mean, V1 had some really good pathing there, some really good rotations on where to go, when to leave a tile and go to the next one. We do think someone's around here kind of stealthing for the save. I'm not sure if we saw someone while we were carrying V1 to the hook. I didn't quite see anyone, but I mean, we're down to one more gen. This is looking like it might be out. Praxis doing a very good job at getting their gen pressure. Looking like Overdose with Overdose not being on a gen, it looks like Overdose might be trying to stealth for this save. Well, Balatar works on a generator, but we're not 100% sure where Overdose is stealthing right about now. It could be near and it could be far, just maybe far enough away that if Aaron leaves hook too far that we're able to get the fast pull.
Yeah, and Aaron going geared to try and check on any gen progression. Ward it might be able to complete that gen. Are we going to stick it out? Yes, we are, and that is Ward taking the generator on Gallows. And oh, a little bit of a miss swing. That's really unfortunate. Oh, another miss swing. What am I seeing? I'm seeing some spaghetti gameplay here, but of course, it doesn't really matter for the Sirs. They already met their win con, but one of just a beautiful showcase from Praxis, showing how good communication with your team is the end-all be-all on DDS. And we already have this gate being opened. Of course, we are going to use our fly to try to block this exit gate and possibly get the down. The survivors doing everything here to keep the Claudette alive. Will we be able to keep it? And oh no! Just going up right on the Claudette at the exact moment that the Skull Pixel hitbox is active, and so that means we are going to get the down on Ward with 2 injured survivors on the board. I actually am not sure if they're able to get out safely here. Yeah, with both injuries, this is very scary. It might even lead to a 4K if the survivors are not careful, but we are deciding to just go back for a pickup and maybe check if there is someone around here. This is very fascinating and not usually an endgame scenario that you see on Lich here.
Yeah, Balatar trying to crawl his way out of the gate, but Aaron said, no, that's not happening. With both survivors being injured, playing for the save here is pretty risky. I mean, they've already got the win con. Knowing Praxis, they'll try for it, but if they're playing smart, they're just going to leave. We do see the reset come on to V1, so V1 is now healthy, so it looks like we are going to try and play for the save as much as possible. Overdose doing a incredible jiggy double back in the gen area, so we're not. Oh, and the stun coming through. I think that might. No, it was not our smash hit survivor, and V1 trying to come in for the hit tank, and it looks like we may get it. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna see the 3 out. Still on BT on Volatar. I mean, what a well played game from our survivors and our killers. But stay tuned. We'll be right back for some plague. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Ashen Trials. We are on set 2 of Praxis versus Astral. Plague on Pit 1. We have Astral on the killer. I mean, pretty typical build for a Plague coming in. Emee, what do you think?
Ooh, what do I think? Well, I very much like kind of basic M1 characters, and even though this someone like Plague does have their basically blood pools to be able to use as a secondary power, it's, in comp sets it's not really seen. Mainly because if the survivors are playing well, especially ones like Praxis, they're most likely just not going to cleanse. Usually you'll see cleanses come in around the end game of Plague sets where you know that everyone can just play a little bit more risky since you're probably already in good positions to open gates and everyone's a little bit more spread out. You know, you're not trying to focus on gens anymore. But as I say that, our Apple add-on is coming in there to get that blood. And always, if you get a blood kill, basically a blood down, at the especially this early on in the match, it's very, very good for Plague. But you need to make the most out of your blood when you have it, since this might be the only chance that you actually are able to use your power as intended, since the survivors were just not cleansed throughout the match.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely don't want to cleanse early, give power super early here. But we are getting our power right away with the one corrupt pool that we had. Chasing V1, although we're chasing V1 around main. Main with power, it's not very easy. You can easily get around corners and windows and pallets super quick, so I don't think playing the power here is the best idea. V1 doing an amazing job at just not getting tagged. However, now the window is blocked, so there's not much. I mean, they just have to wrap around the long way, and absolutely doing so. Aaron having to break that pallet. I'm surprised we didn't break it earlier. But the power is about to run out, and we are going to see the first gen pop.
Definitely difficult situation for Aaron, because now that we have, that was literally our only blood pool on the map, I believe. So that is going to be extremely rough to come back from. I mentioned earlier that if you are unable to get a down with your power, with the only power that you have at the start, it is a very uphill battle now, because the survivors have a lot more leverage. You know, even if you get 2 infections at this point in the game, they don't really have to be worried about, you know, like dying in a bad spot and then worrying about a pool that can prevent any safe unhooks. And the survivors doing an amazing job with gen progression here, doubling mid, and we are going to see a lot of infections go around. The game plan against Plague is that you want one person healthy, so that was why V1 is not willing to take any sort of infection, since it leads to easier unhooks and just beautiful dodges all around from the survivors to lessen the infection. We are seeing very, very good gameplay. Folks, take out your notebooks. This is exactly how you want to play against Plague.
Yeah, absolutely. Doing very well at denying the infection. Also, we haven't been able until now to get Santa value with 2 gens already popped because no one's been infected. But we are going to see a swing through the pallet. Aki not expecting it. We're going to try and go for a cheeky flashlight save. However, Aaron is licking the wall, so that is not going to happen. Giving the little bit of nodders we see, but we're going to get a nice hill hook here onto Aki, which is going to be our first hook of the game, but no pain res. I couldn't quite steal the pain res while Aaron was carrying Aki there, but it looked like most of them seemed to be top side of the map.
Oh yeah, when this top side hook on hill, it is going to be quite difficult for the survivors to pull. But here's the thing. It usually would be difficult, but with how much gen progression they have on the board and how much V1 was able to waste time at main, this gives them so many options, since realistically, if they just want to stick gens here, that would be a-okay. And we are seeing cleanse come through down near main, and the reason why is because our Plague will have to move all the way down to get their power if they so desire, and that's going to be a huge time waste for the Plague. So this Plague sticking to this side of the map, knowing that we cannot waste time getting our power there. So really, really smart gameplay from the survivors, and I'm telling you, a bad early game for Plague can really mean the entire difference for this set.
Absolutely. However, we do have a corrupt bridge right where this hook was. I think we're going to choose to get it and try and go after the tunnel out, or go back to V1, knowing V1 was trying to work that shack gen. But it's now all infected and gross. So I'm assuming V1 possibly just left it. We do have an injured survivor over here, and it is Bolitar. Aaron does have power here, and oh my gosh, what an amazing mind game coming in from Aaron, and being able to catch Bolitar off guard. Ooh, we did try to get a nice little swing for it. However, it's just not coming through. It looks like V1's trying to play for a little bit of a pallet save. This could be a snowball, though.
Yeah, V1 doing our best to stay alive here. Another's trying to do the same thing that we saw earlier in mid, just taking a swing at the pallet. And very smart gameplay here from V1, knowing that we can kind of just greed this a little bit because the Plague is a little bit scared of losing their power there. Unfortunately, we are not able to make another way around, and I'm a little curious if throwing that pallet down slightly earlier was worth it. But either way, these players know what they're doing in their chases, so I'm very confident that they are still calming very well. And even though this looks like a little bit of a dire situation, our power will be almost over here. Wow, that was a very vital dodge from the Claudette there. We really needed to not die there, and the Plague definitely wanted that down, since we would have had 2 slugs on bottom side of the map. So unfortunately, we will not be able to get it. And oh my gosh, as I'm saying, beautiful comms from the survivors. That jump scared me a little bit. I was not expecting that pallet save. And now this looked from a dire situation into completely manageable for the survivors in literally the span of about 2 minutes. Beautiful gameplay from Praxis.
Yeah, absolutely. And all it takes is 1 minute of second guessing on the killer side for the survivors to gain all that pressure back, which they have done here. But it does look like we're continuously trying to play around main shack building, even though like that's our most progress gen right now. But we do have a lot of fillers bottom side right now, so we could make a chase last and get that gen to pop, all while the chase is on bottom side as well. As it just takes amazing teamwork, which we have been seeing from Praxis already.
Yeah, we definitely have been seeing fantastic teamwork. And do we get to hit here? Yes, we do. A little bit of too much of a greed there to try and waste time. But either way, this is just a win-win for the survivors, since with their gen pressures, they most likely will be able to pop this gen extremely soon. We do have 4 injuries on the board. Most likely, since it's nearing endgame, somebody is probably going to cleanse, I'm assuming, on the other side of the map soon. But either way, we have Shack being worked on, and the survivors are splitting beautifully. We do see a double here, but since Shack pallet is still up and we are not in power, this is very, very good for the survivors. Excellent time to unhook as well, knowing that the Plague is probably just going to stick to the survivors on Shack. Beautiful. Oh, I was going to say very good drop, but this might be a little bit too greedy, and no, just on the verge of getting overdose there. And now our Plague player is trying to get our downs as fast as possible, but this is the issue with Plague. You have to play M1, and when you're playing survivors that are this good at pathing and calming, it feels extremely difficult. And we are seeing a down here on Shack, but either way, all gens are now popped, and this is looking like it's going to be out.
Yeah, we do see all gens pop here, and I mean, it's normal to get outs on a Plague set, so I'm not super surprised. And oh my god, Bolitar getting swung at and hit, but we're gonna see another pallet save come in. Overdose right there. Oh, so ready for it already, and we're gonna see the flashlight. Oh, never mind. Nah, the puke cucking Bolitar out of the flashlight save. We're gonna have a hook into basement coming up. Wow. I mean, oh, but we get to sneak right past. We're gonna get the unhook for free. It's not even a trade. It's not even a trade.
That might be one of the most tragic things I've ever seen in comp. That literally would have been the clip of the month. You know, a pallet stun into a flashlight save at the perfect time. That would have been so... Oh my gosh. No way! We set up for another flashlight save, making up for what just happened earlier at Shack. I can't believe what I just saw. This is so incredible what we're seeing in the end game
You know,
of this set.
our first game, Aaron got a really cheeky flashlight save on Bolitar, so I think Bolitar decided I want some payback and get a little bit of a cheeky flashlight save onto him. So, I mean, very well done. Seeing that flashlight save, and we are gonna see the 4 out. I mean, not many stages on the board here with that, but I don't know. I think Astral serves can possibly pull it off. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to game number 2 of set 2. We now have Praxis, Aki for Praxis, not Bolitar this time, on the Killer, on the Plague. We have a very tough win con for the serves. I am joined once again by the bestie, Emi. Glad to have you here for this set, possibly the last set of the day.
Yeah, this is match point for these teams, and I just want to mention, you mentioned earlier, it's going to be a very difficult win con, and realistically, I think the only way that they're able to meet this win con is they need as much survivor coordination as we saw earlier. I mean, we were literally seeing flashlight saves and pallet saves out the wazoo, and that shows the caliber of survivors that you need to get low stages sometimes in some of these sets. You don't really see that from most teams, so it really shows the incredible skill gap on communication that the Praxis survivors have. So, but who knows? You know, theoretically, it is still possible, and I'm not going to count out these survivors.
No, absolutely not. These survivors still have been playing very well, being able to take chases to the right areas. We do see the first chase here onto Marcy. Aki's gonna swing through and get the hit, and unfortunately Marcy is stumbling on a stump. And we're gonna we weren't gonna, it looked like we were gonna grade the pallet, and then we dropped the pallet. However, Aki's just gonna zone them straight to the corner. I don't think they make Shack from this. Oh, never mind, I lied.
Yeah, it was a nice pathing from Marcy. Yeah, it was a little bit of a zone there from Aki, but thankfully the survivors were able to kind of just send it. Because if you've played a lot of ones, especially on this map, which is extremely common for trapper sets, you know that there's a certain line of pathing where you're almost always safe if you play it safe. That's why we did see that pre-drop earlier, since we knew for a fact that we were able to make Shack even if the killer tried to zone us.
Yeah, absolutely. Marcy going on a fantastic first chase here, which is honestly what we need to see from these survivors. We need to see the fast chases, or the long chases, not the fast chases. We need to see the long chases if they want to win this set, and we know this gen's been working on, so we're trying to find the person who's been stealthing, but it doesn't seem like we can find them unless they're being sneaky and hiding in a locker somewhere. I mean, they're doing a great job at stealthing and not getting found, and it looks, we do have 4 gen bottom, so this is definitely the area that Aki's gonna want to protect for sure.
I really have to give a shout out to the survivors here for playing this very, very slow. We're not seeing as much gen prog as we were seeing in that earlier match, but the thing is, the survivors know the caliber that the killer player for Praxis has been doing, so basically we are going to be very careful, and with a win con with 3 stages on the board, yeah, playing safe is the correct option. A little bit of a nod there from Aki. It's pretty funny to see. I will always personally say I do love when killers and survivors show off a little bit of their personality, whether it's through like emotes or a little bit of fun with the killer POV.
Absolutely, I love seeing a little bit of friendly attitude towards each other. I don't like seeing BM, but the friendly attitude I do love to see. And I mean, you can definitely tell these gamers are used to each other with how much they're nodding at each other and how much they're having fun. And I mean, none of these survivors are being found, which is absolutely fantastic for the Astral survivors, and a very slow start for Aki, and Corrupt is now gone too, so
Yeah, I have to wonder if the survivors are just full stealthing, and whenever they are calming that Aki's at a certain position on the map, that they're just cranking the gens on the other side. So I'm assuming that is what they are doing, and a very smart gameplay as well. Again, they're not counting themselves out. They know exactly what the win con is, and they know that they need to play it slow. So shout outs to them. Aki's still trying to find our stealth here on Edge map, and I'm actually curious where they are stealthing because like these survivors have been doing such a good job at it, and I'm a little bit astonished, and I'm trying to take notes for myself when I go back to comp.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking the same thing, man. I think I need to take some notes from these Astral survivors on stealth because they're doing a fantastic job stealthing away, and I have honestly have no clue where they're stealthing right now, but they're doing an absolute fantastic job at it. I mean, they've got to be working all top gens right now. And so we see Aaron is still on the bottom side of the map, stealthing. And same with our lovely Suko here. Both of them just doing a really good job using that urban evasion to be able to stealth away from the killer.
One of the smart things that I've been seeing from the detective tap here is the fact that Aki has been trying to gain information by puking on some of the gens, but we have our only injured survivor doing the gens that are infected to not give any more information to Aki on any of the healthy survivors. That's really, really smart and really, really good comms from them. Of course, this game is at a much slower pace than what we're used to, especially with the other matches being like, you know, Lich. Like we were seeing very, very crazy things. And even in the last plague set, we were seeing such good gameplay from pathing from the survivors, and also we were seeing crazy interactions. But now, of course, this game is a slower paced. But 2 gens popped on the board with no stages on right now. Really, really good gameplay from the survivors.
Yeah, Astral's doing a fantastic job at stealthing this out, and I don't know if we saw there when we saw the switch to Zuko. We saw a little bit of where they were. They're just literally have been urban evasioning around the whole entire bottom of side of the mat away from Aki and doing a fantastic job at not getting found. And I mean, they're playing this so slow but so perfectly all at the same time.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious to see if this game plan will take them all the way, right? Because even though we have already popped 2 gens on the board with maybe another one coming through, we will be down to possibly 2 gens. And even if it is 2 gens, we are just been holding this 4 gen for the entire game. And that is where Plague is actually able to excel a bit, since if you are able to keep this 4 gen, I'm not really sure how they're going to be able to pressure it as easily as they are right now with the stealths. But because this character is still an M1 essentially without their power, there's actually a lot of opportunity for the survivors to pressure the gens. I'm very, very fascinated to see what happens here.
I'm curious if their game plan is to pop all the gens on the top side and then have all 4 of them pressure this 4 gen on the bottom side together. Because, I mean, if they pop all gens, being able to have all 4 people all at the bottom side of the map trying to work and get these gens popped honestly is a pretty smart idea. And we see Suka here doing an amazing job at stealthing out the plague around the rocket. We just don't see the play. We don't see the K at all. Oh my goodness, this is incredible stuff. Chat, y'all better take notes right now. Y'all better take notes.
Note taking is definitely happening on my end. That was like a perfect stealth from the Kate, as you mentioned. And yeah, our survivors are starting to pressure our 4 gen here on this side of the map. And we do see the tap, but obviously they are just going to send it to the main building if they are caught in a bad spot. Because remember, we still have all our resources down here and all our resources top. There was like no chase really happening besides a little bit on 7. So besides that one spot of the map with the little bit of zoning we saw at the start of this match, there is not much happening. And this is the issue now. Aki has to start going for chases sooner or later. With 4 survivors on the board, they're going to be able to pressure the gens, and it's not going to be as easy to get down. We are seeing our blood come in here, and I'm curious to know if we are able to find any stealths, because if we do find a stealth with this win con and hook them near Shack or the equivalent of mid, it's going to be now an uphill battle.
Absolutely, but I honestly think all the survivors have free left already to the top of the map. Try to waste out this corrupt purge as much as possible. Yeah, we see Ace here is already mid-map. The tap is still bottom, but doing a very good job at stealthing away and trying to run away. And yeah, Everyone looks like they're trying to be topside, waste out the Plague's power here, so they're just back to a basic M1 killer, which I mean, honestly, is what you need to do in this situation, especially in the 4th-gen. The survivors are playing this really smartly, trying to force Aki here to go to the top of the map to be able to get it down. And I mean, all you really need is I mean, they need 3 fresh, 3 stages. So, I mean, if it's 1 fresh and 3 stages, that's still gonna take Praxis for the win, so...
Beautiful down
Oh no,
here.
sorry. The other side, other way. Brain work.
All good. Oh! Oh my gosh. Yo, for anyone who did not just catch that, I was going to be a actually perfect timing flashlight save. And unfortunately, the flashlight got stuck on one of the crates. We're going to have to call the hardware company to take that out of the game, since that was a very, very Mickey situation there. But Aki is going to get their first hook on the board with this win con. It's still extremely plausible. And now with all 4 survivors injured, Aki just needs to get these downs. Play this M1 game, Aki. Show us what you got. You do need to get these stages on this board right now.
Yeah, absolutely. We need to get these stages. We need to get this down. It looks like we might... No, we're going to swing on the outside. Try and play a little mind game here on our Kate. But our Kate just vaulting straight over the pallet and going to get... We're just pallet vaulting. But we are going to get the second down. And it's on the bottom side of the map. This is not where you want to get down. You're right in the 4th-gen. And now we have 2 stages, 2 fresh. Oh, boy. This is a bad position now for the survivors.
Oh yeah, definitely a bad position. Remember, they were playing so well at the beginning, and their game plan honestly looked super... Oh no. Okay, we are seeing an immediate unhook coming through, but now with our power, this is going to be very, very difficult for the survivors to survive this. And now, this is the strength of this killer. You know, we are seeing another stealth come out here on the side of the map, but with our power, if we are found, this is going to be disastrous. And I'm a little curious, because we only need 3 stages or more. 3 stages would be Tycon, and then with 4 we would definitely get the win. And I'm just curious, because I understand the game plan of trying to still secure 4-gen, but with this win con, I feel like it would make more sense to just hard commit to the chase, even if it is top, and we don't have our power. With this stages, you can just camp. You can just camp and then guarantee basically that it will be a trade. Or the survivors are forced to take a 2-man to try and get the save, and gen progress will slow down either way. So now the survivors have a perfect opportunity to stealth again, since like we lost line of sight of them here, and I'm not sure how this will go now for Aki.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. It looks like we're coming up top, thinking that they're going to be up top, stealthing out the power again, which, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We do have another corrupt pool here, which we are going to pick up to double the length of our power, but, I mean, the survivors are probably already getting gen progress on the bottom side of the map because of the fact that we are all the way top, and they have been really good at stealthing back and forth between bottom and top side of the map. So I would not be surprised if we come back here and we see a lot of progress on some of these generators at all.
Yes, Aki now checking mid again to see if there's possibly any rotations, trying to find any sort of light here, or I guess I should say life with the survivors. We really need this. And oh my gosh, we do spot the Kate there with, unfortunately, one of the sweater, in my opinion, calling them out. A little bit of a bright blue contrast with the map. And now this is going to be an excellent position for Aki if we can get it down. With power, this is essentially almost impossible, but Kate showing me exactly why it is theoretically not perfect pathing. But yeah, we are just forced to go edge map, and this most likely will be the down. There's not much you can do here anymore with power, and that is going to be another down on Suko.
Absolutely, we're gonna see another down here, and oh my god, Ace is here too, in a really bad position. Although not injured from the infection, we're gonna see an injury come in very quickly, and this is the 3rd fresh hook. Oh my goodness, this is the Tycon right here. This hook is the Tycon.
Yeah, and with that second down, remember, if we get this pick, then it is going to be a win for Praxis. And you know what I was thinking? I think the ace was there for a flashlight save, because with this amount of stages, they know that they have to make a risky play. Their hands are tied with this win con, and they just have to make anything happen to prevent the down. So tragic, because these survivors were literally stealthing perfectly this entire game, and the one time that our Kate is found means everything for the killer player. So even though this was a little bit of a slow burner game, now we are seeing the intensity amplify as one more hook is a win for the killer.
So we just need one last hook here too, and I think we did find Aaron, who is no, this is Marcy. Aaron's on Claudette. I mean, if we hook Marcy here, that's the win for Praxis. It's over. They can't let any more hook stages go. They can't. They have to pop both gens without letting our hook stage go. And I don't know if there's a pallet here. Luckily, there is a pallet here, but we don't get the drop. And Aki's gonna swing through it, and we're gonna pick up Marcy. And oh my god, if we get this hook, that is the win for Praxis.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Claudette was maybe thinking there to try and go for a body block, but because of everyone's infections, we are all injured, and that is going to secure the game for Praxis. Wow, I mean, I said earlier, let's not count out these survivors, and they perfectly showed me why, no matter what the win con is, that you can have it, if you have it in your heart to play it out, you can still try to make a very good performance, but unfortunately for these survivors, it just wasn't enough. Despite them literally popping 3 gems with 0 stages, a couple downs meant it was going to be the win for Praxis, and we did see that happening. But honestly, I am floored by the gameplay still from both teams. They both showed us that there's a lot that we can learn as comp players from this one set on stealthing and on positioning.
Absolutely, these survivors did a really good job at playing this match. Oh! No, it's inside the building, unfortunately not being able to get the firecracker save. Much respect to both of these teams for going for these pallet saves, these flashlight saves, these tracker saves. In all honesty, doing amazing. We are getting that 4th gen popped right in the killer's face. However, Zuko, the only one left standing, maybe securing a 4K0 if they're on this gen. Who heckin' knows? But they are on the gen. However, we're not going to get it finished. And we are going to see the 4K1. Very well played by these survivors. That beginning game, like the start of that game, was absolutely played so perfectly. Like, I was scared for Praxis here. I didn't think that they were going to come out on top on this, but surely enough, they did. Perfect gameplay by the survivors, and then Aki just being patient as can be, being able to pull out the 4K1 Emi.
Yeah, definitely showing us why the mental game is sometimes stronger than the mechanics of the game, you know? Like, it's very, very easy. I've seen in a bunch of scrims with various different killers of various skill levels that they can get sometimes tilted, especially when not being able to find stealths and seeing gens slowly pop. It can be really demoralizing in your brain, you know? You're thinking, wow, this is such a winnable win con. Like, why am I not getting the downs that I need to get, and why can I not find any survivors? But one of the perfect things about this game is that you can definitely train your mental with a little bit of practice. So Aki celebrating a little bit, hands in the air. We do know that we take the win for the team. So excellent job to Aki. And again, beautiful mental from both teams, because honestly, their win con that they had to play for was so difficult. That is going to be it for me personally. I will not be casting the rest of the games. Jazz, any final thoughts before we close the game out?
Honestly, just well played by both the teams. I believe that is the last of our games for the whole entire day today. It indeed is. Our next game is going to be this Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST, Invictus versus Rogue. So we will definitely see you guys on Wednesday.